Hey everybody, Jeremy here, and welcome to a new episode of Sipping with Jeremy. And today we're just going to have a quick one because we're highlighting one spirit, and it's the newest spirit from our friends in Sonoma County, Redwood Empire. So I've done a few videos with Redwood Empire. We went through their core lineup on one of our first videos. So if you can stand just seeing my face super close, you can go back and check that one out. Then we did another recent one where we reviewed the Devil's Tower and the Foggy Burl, which were the two first releases of 2024 that were specialty from Redwood Empire. And now we have a third. This is the Screaming Titan Wheated Bourbon. So for those of you who don't know what a wheated bourbon is, that just means it's a bourbon, so still something that's at least 51% corn, but just has a much higher wheat mash bill than typical. Usually for wheat, you're at like somewhere between 5 to 12% in your bourbon. This one is actually 30%. So the mash bill for the Screaming Titan is 59% corn, 30% wheat, 7% rye, and 4% malt. And this is a production of 50 barrels. Those barrels were either toasted or charred up to level 3 for aging. And this stands at 96 proof in the bottle. And the Screaming Titan is a tree in the Redwood Valley that isn't too far from the Lost Monarch tree, which is what Redwood Empire has named their bourbon and rye blend. And it stands at 323 feet tall, so it is a big old tree. And since this is a Redwood Empire product, we know that our friends Jeff Duckhorn and Lauren Patz are behind the making of this whiskey. It does seem like they are sourcing some of this whiskey, so some of it is made in Sonoma, but there are also whiskeys from Indiana and Kentucky that are blended into this 50-barrel project. Wheated bourbon has become a more popular category in the last 2 to 3 years, and part of the reason why is because it does soften up a bourbon a little bit. The more wheat you put in, the softer the profile is. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the category, if you've ever had like a Maker's Mark or a Larceny bourbon, both of those are considered wheated bourbons as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and try the Screaming Titan. So as expected with a wheated bourbon, this definitely has a softer kind of profile to it and a bigger mouthfeel to it. Definitely coats your palate. The first thing that I get is a good amount of oak spice and just kind of baking spices to add to that. But you definitely get a little bit of woodsiness up front. That kind of leads to some more like waxy red apple kind of profiles to it, kind of like what I've gotten more and more of our ciders that I've had before. But then that leads off to some really nice like malted chocolate, a little bit of like a dark cocoa nib kind of thing on the finish. But definitely the oak spice is more present on the back end too. So it kind of starts a little oak spicy, then finishes oak spice with again some more of that like waxy red apple in the middle and some softer kind of like malted chocolate, dark chocolate characteristics. But yeah, this is just a super easy drinking bourbon. Again, since it is a wheated bourbon, that's kind of the profile that they are looking for at Redwood Empire with this one. And this is just a fun expression of what a wheated bourbon can be. Definitely one to check out. I mean, again, especially because it's part of the limited series that Redwood Empire will do. We'll probably see this again in a couple years or a new one next year. But, it's always fun to get that batch number 1, too. So this is available in our store. We'll have the link below for y'all to check it out. Since it is limited, there isn't a whole lot of it. So, if you're watching this video in a few months after it's released, it might be gone. But, go ahead and feel free to check it out when next time it is released from Redwood Empire. That's going to do it for us today, y'all. It's just a quick and easy one. Thanks for joining. Have a great day, and don't forget to drink well.